Hey, what's up everybody? Guinea Piggies Designs here. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Brittany. I basically just sew things for your small animals and I do other random things. But in today's video, I am bringing you episode 12 and this is where I am sewing things for my own guinea pig cage. So really quick, in this video, I am going to be doing the first part of sewing of the things that I set up for sewing in my last video. So if you guys want to see how I set any of these things up for sewing, you can check out my last episode, which was episode 11. But anyways, here is what I did today. So I started to sew the hay bags, the Snuggle Tunnels, the hooded houses, the Cuddle Cups, and the rest of the woodland flannel pieces. And also, you guys, everything that I do use in this video is going to be linked down below in the description. So if you are wondering where I got anything, go and check that out. The only thing I will not have linked down below is my sewing machine here because it's not available on Amazon yet, but you could check out my sewing machine unboxing, and in that video I show you guys where I've got it and all of that. So if you guys are interested in my machine, make sure you check that video out. I'll have it linked down below. Anyways, if you guys want to see how I started sewing the items I just shown you, go ahead and just keep on watching. Alright, so for the first part, I will be working on the Cuddle Cups. So here I am working on the inside of the Cuddle Cup where I am sewing a straight line all the way down, leaving around a 1-inch inseam, and then I am cutting the excess off. I am also straightening out the edges, and then the next part I will be working on the outside of the Cuddle Cup. So here I'm sewing the fleece and the batting together, and for this piece I am sewing all the way around it, leaving a 1-inch inseam. And then once I sew all the way around this piece here, I am going to fold it in half, making sure the two good sides are touching each other, and then I'm going to sew a straight line all the way down just like I did with the inside piece. And I'm also going to leave around a 1-inch inseam. After I sew that straight line, I'm just going to cut off the excess, and then I'm going to start working on the bottom of the Cuddle Cup where I'm sewing the fleece and the batting together along with the U-haul. And for this piece, I'm going to sew all the way around it, leaving a 1-inch inseam. And then once I'm done sewing around this one, I am going to trim off the excess batting, just so it's not as bulky as it looks now.
Eyes swimming in your sky, never been this high or this high. You feel like kryptonite, sparks fly like dynamite, reflecting in your light, beaming bright. You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me.
Alright, now I'm working on the inside of the bottom of the Cuddle Cup. So here I'm going to sew around this whole piece here, leaving a 1-inch inseam. And then after I'm done sewing this piece, I'm going to start working on the 2 removable potty pads. With that piece, I am going to sew all the way around, but I'm going to leave a 3-inch to 4-inch hole. So I'm not going to sew like all the way around it. I'm just going to leave a hole. That way I can turn it right side out later. And I'm going to do the same thing to both pads. And with this, I'm leaving around a 1 to 2-inch inseam. So now I am working on the next Cuddle Cup. I am going to be making 4 Cuddle Cups total. So I'm just going to be repeating the same process you just saw earlier 3 more times.
You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me. A power I can't handle, but I know I need. One look and I surrender. You're why my heart beats. in your eyes, swimming in your sky. Never been this high or this high. You feel like kryptonite, sparks fly like dynamite, reflecting in your light, beaming bright. You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me. A power I can't handle, but I know I need. One look and I surrender. You're why my heart beats. From day one to forever, you'll be saving me. You'll be saving me.
Next, I am working on the hooded houses. So for the first part, I'm working on the outside where I am just sewing a straight line around the opening, and I'm leaving about a 0.5-inch inseam. And then I'm going to start working on the inside of the hooded house where I sew around the back side of it, leaving around a 3-inch inseam, and then I do trim off the excess. Alright, now I'm working on the outside of the hooded house, the bottom of it, and here all I'm doing is sewing a straight line all the way around, leaving a 1-inch inseam. And then once I'm done sewing around this part, I am going to trim off the excess batting so that way it is less bulky. And then I am going to work on the inside of the hooded house, the bottom of it, and with that piece I'm just going to sew a straight line all the way around, and then I'm going to move on to the 2 removable pads. And with the pads, I'm doing the same exact thing I did with the Cuddle Cups where I sew around the pads, but I do leave a 2 to 3-inch hole, and then I'm going to be doing that with both pads. And then once I finish these 2 removable pads, I am making another hooded house, so I'm going to be repeating the same process over again.
Turned to dawn, the tidal
Alright, next I am working on the foam tunnel. So here I am just sewing a straight line around the line that I traced. I'm going to sew all around this piece here, which is going to be the top part of the tunnel. And I'm going to leave around a 6 to 7 inch hole. That way I can fit the foam inside later.
You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me. A power I can't handle, but I know I need one look and I'll surrender.
Now I am working on the bottom of the tunnel. So here again, I'm just sewing around the line that I traced out. And for this one, I am going to leave about a 4 to 5 inch hole. Now I am working on the 2 removable pads. So for this part here, I am just sewing a straight line all the way around, leaving around a 1 inch inseam, and I'm going to leave around a 3 to 4 inch hole. That way I could turn it right side out later. And then for the second pad, I'm going to repeat the same process.
Saving me, dusk is turned to dawn, the tidal waves are gone. I found peace in your arms, in your arms. The shadows on the ground no longer tear me down. Nothing can do me harm, do me harm. You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me. A power I can't.
Alright, so now I am working on the cube. So for this part, I am working on the openings first, where I sew around the circle that I traced out, and then I cut the middle out, trying not to cut the seam, but trying to get to cut as close as the seam as you can. And then I just put the top layer through the hole, and then I stretch it out. And then I sew all the way around it, trying to get as close to the foam as you can, but not sewing through the foam. And I am making 2 openings, so for the next part, I am repeating the same process. Now I am working on the sides of the cube and the bottom. So for this, I just sew around this piece, kind of like I did with the openings, where I try to sew as close to the foam as I can, but not sewing through the foam. So you're just going to sew around these pieces, and I'm going to be repeating this same process 3 more times.
Reflecting in your light, beaming bright. You know I'm so much stronger when you're touching me. A power I can't handle, but I know I need one look and I'll surrender. You're why my heart beats. From day one to forever, you'll be saving me. You'll be saving me.
On the 2 removable pads. So for this part, I'm just sewing a straight line all the way around. I am gonna leave a 2 to 3 inch hole at the end, and I am leaving around a 1 inch inseam, and I'm gonna repeat the same process to the second pad.
When you're touching me, a power I can't handle, but I know I need one look and I'll surrender. You're why my
working on the Piggy Home. So for this part, I'm working on the top first, and all I'm doing is sewing the flannel and the fleece together. I'm sewing all around this piece, trying to get as close to the foam as I can. On the bottom of the Piggy Home. So here I'm doing the same thing where I am sewing the fleece and the flannel together. I'm going to sew all the way around this piece, trying to get as close to the foam as I can. For the opening of the Piggy Home, what I'm doing here is I am sewing around the opening that I traced out. So I'm going to sew all around that, and then what I'm going to do is cut out the middle. It's kind of similar to how I do the cube openings. So I'm going to cut out the middle, and then I am going to put the fleece in the hole and try to stretch it out towards the other side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all the way around this piece here, trying to sew as close to the foam as I can. This is going to be the back of the Piggy Home. So for this piece, all I'm doing here is sewing all the way around this piece, trying to sew as close to the foam as I can. From day one to forever, you'll be saving me. You'll be saving me. Next, I am working on the 2 removable pads for the Piggy Home. So here I just like to start out on whatever side towards the lower middle, and also a straight line all the way around, but I do leave about a 2 to 3 inch hole at the end, so that way I can turn it right side out later. And then I repeat the same process with the second pad. Now I am working on the Piggy Lounge. So here I'm working on the top part. So all I'm doing is sewing a straight line on one of the longer edges, and then I'm going to trim off the excess, and then I'm going to move on to working on the bottom piece, which again I'm going to sew a straight line on the shorter edge, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. And then for the back of the Piggy Lounge, I am just going to sew a straight line all the way around the back, and for this part I am trying to get as close to the foam as I can. And then I'm going to start working on the 2 removable pads, where I sew all around them, but I do leave a 2 to 3 inch hole, and I do leave around a 1 inch inseam.
I marvel in your eyes, swimming in your sky. I've never been this high or this high. You feel like kryptonite, sparks fly like dynamite.
Now I am working on the Snuggle Tunnels. So for this part, for the inside piece, I'm just sewing a straight line all the way down, and then I am going to trim off the excess. And then for the outside piece of the Snuggle Tunnel, I am going to sew the batting, the U-haul, the fleece together. I'm just going to sew all around that piece. And I am making 3 snuggle tunnels all together. So after when I'm done sewing this piece, I'm going to repeat the same process 2 more times. And now moving on to the hay bags. So for the hay bags, all I'm doing is sewing the flannel and the ripstop nylon together. I am just sewing around the edge, leaving around a 0.5 inch inseam, and I am making 2 hay bags, so I am going to be doing the same thing to 4 pieces total. So I finished sewing the rest of the items, which are over here. So there are all the items I pre-sewed today. Everything at the bottom I sewed in my last video, but I just decided to put it in a big pile just so everything's together. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but yeah. But anyway, in my next video, I'm going to be basically cutting around all the items I need to cut around. So that will probably be my next video. But anyways, also you guys, don't forget everything I used in this video is going to be linked down below in the description. If you guys are wondering where I got anything, make sure you check that out. And if you guys are still liking this series, make sure you give this video a like. And if you guys do want to see more videos from me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.